Welcome to the Professor Slots podcast. You know how you've put a lot of time and energy into your slots play for not nearly enough wins? Yeah, I get it. I'm here to help you change that. If you're trying to accelerate your slots momentum, become more profitable, and win more than ever before, today's episode will help you move forward with confidence. And now to help you with over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, here's John Friedel, also known as Professor Slots. Hello, slots enthusiasts. It's great to hang out with you again for another Professor Slots podcast episode I do every few days to help you improve your slots performance, leave with your winnings, and ultimately change your life for the better. And hopefully I'm going to change your life a little bit today so you can visit your casino and play slots smarter. And sometimes the best way we can do that to change slots enthusiasts' lives for the better is when they enter a business relationship with us. They become a client, they buy our online course, they start getting coaching from us, whatever the case may be, because you have ways to take advantage of your casino, which allows you to impact how much you win and then leave with your winnings. I'm your host, Dr. John Friedel, but please call me John. I help slots enthusiasts improve their gambling performance with next-level tactics and strategies. Want to accelerate your slots journey, be more profitable, and understand casinos better to take advantage of them? I have over a decade of experience working with slots enthusiasts just like you, so you're in the right place. In case you missed it, on my last episode, I went over changing your slots strategy at $300, $1,000, and $3,000 bankrolls, the Hawaii slots industry, and provided a Q&A session from one of my past live streams. I hope you enjoyed listening to my last episode as much as I enjoyed making it for you. Today's episode number 184 includes a review of the slots industry in Idaho, later in the episode followed by a Q&A session from a prior live stream. But I'll begin for you today with getting a hand pay jackpot with a small $100 bankroll. Having a limited bankroll requires a whole different approach to winning at slots. Let's go over what that is, shall we? Have you ever won a hand pay with less than a $100 bankroll? I have, 3 times. I'll be blunt, it takes work, thought, and more than a little effort, but not much bankroll, which is the point. This episode segment isn't just for those with $100, $200, or $300 bankrolls. It's for everyone because winning is the same as always, but with fewer gambling expenses, increasing our profits without requiring more wins. It's just math, folks. Or rather, accounting. What's your primary gambling goal? The 3 most common are entertainment, complimentary gifts or comps, and making money. But there are others. For instance, mine is to learn how to win and then tell you all about it. But some slots enthusiasts want a hand pay. If you want the hand pay experience and have lots of money, then play a high-limit slot machine where almost every win is $1,200 or more. That's a hand pay. Yes, some casinos have hand pays for lesser amounts to reduce fraudsters from trying to copy and print a duplicate voucher. So the hand pays we're talking about here are worth $1,200 or more, which in the U.S. results in an automatic W-2G IRS tax form. We never forget our initial hand pay experience. That wonderful feeling starts with, hey, why did this machine lock up? But you must have that experience first and deal with the income taxes when tax season comes around. But who am I to judge what people want and like? And yes, you can get a hand pay by betting lots and lots of money on high-limit slot machines, which generate a lot of hand pays. But do you have $10,000 or $20,000 to spare? Go knock yourself out. But most of us don't. We can't all be the creator of the top YouTube slots channel spending $10,000 on his weekly visit to the casino, and then post those videos a few times a day for the rest of the week. So let's examine the other end of the spectrum. How do you win a hand pay with a $100 bankroll? That's not enough to do what most of the rest do, spend money trying to win a hand pay. Yes, we can try to learn what works at our casino or several local casinos, and if we didn't win, it was a fun night anyway, even if we did spend our $500 bankroll, sometimes because we just wanted to play a slot machine that looked like it might be fun, no matter the cost. But with a $100 bankroll, everything costs. With such a small bankroll, how we play slots is different from those with a bigger bankroll. Well, it doesn't have to be different if we aren't trying to win a hand pay. But it is certainly different if you want to earn a hand pay. And that's the difference between winning a hand pay primarily by accident and making a hand pay because you know what you're doing. Earning a hand pay with a $100 bankroll first requires an attitude change in slots enthusiasts. You don't go to the casino to spend money and maybe win because you can't afford to do that. You go to a casino to earn a hand pay. And to do that, you mustn't waste any bankroll. You need to be smart about your limited bankroll if you want a hand pay. Frankly, mostly what you need to do is not spend your $100 bankroll. That might be the most challenging part. Avoid wasting your bankroll doing things that won't work immediately. Otherwise, your bankroll is just gone. Poof. And that's very easy to make happen accidentally. There are several ways to win a hand pay with a $100 bankroll. I sat down at a high-limit slot machine precisely 1 week after I won a hand pay, to the minute, and won a hand pay before spending the whole $100. I've done it several times, and I've sat down at a $100 machine, made a $100 bet with my entire bankroll, and won a $5,000 hand pay. Yes, it was gambling. No, even with my strategies, I wasn't guaranteed a win, but I expected those wins. And you can too. But how? I'll tell you how. Learn your casino well, and learn my strategies well. Learn your casino well from the perspective of which of my strategies work well because they've chosen the marketing practice of which my approach takes advantage. It'll be work and time, yes, and it will take patience and multiple trips to your casino with little to show for your efforts. But what it won't take is very much money. Learn your casino well, figure out what works by watching, and then target a slot machine which you think will produce both a win and a hand pay. That's not every machine. It would be best if you made a significant enough bet that a hand pay is possible. Too low a bet, and you can see in the machine's pay table that only perhaps the top jackpot is $1,200 or more. That means there are no playing minimum bets on penny machines. Not if you want a hand pay. In engineering, we call these limitations design parameters. What does the final product need to be able to do? Here, it's a hand pay and a $100 or less bankroll. The consequences of these two criteria are significant enough bets to have a range of hand pays possible on a slot machine we select. And we need a winning strategy, which means a slot strategy that we found works at our casino. Both are, indeed, limitations. Another human limitation is us. Our knowledge, smarts, and casino combined are the most important things. We must understand our casino well. Spending $100 to win a hand pay means smartly using that bankroll. It primarily means not spending anything while we are at the casino, at least not until we are ready, and we must get ready without spending it. All this takes a lot of patience because it takes time. If you have a spare $100 bankroll to learn with, then another $100 bankroll to use to win, everything will go faster. But if you don't have a spare $100, you may have a friend you might ask to check if your casino has the 5-spin method, or highly visible machines, or playing when you notice everyone else is winning at the casino. Otherwise, you'll need to make a lot of observations. But you can win a hand pay 2 ways without any of that, assuming your casino has these methods. Find and bet on a machine showing a win for a long time, or when a progressive jackpot is close to its must-pay-by amount. In summary, having a limited bankroll requires a whole different approach to winning at slots. It's not easy and takes patience. We only need to make the most of what we have. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you get community support and accountability. Visit ProfessorSlots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. In the next episode of the show, I provide a brief overview of the current state of gambling in a U.S. state, territory, or the federal district, emphasizing the gaming industry for slots enthusiasts. Let's go over Idaho's gaming industry for playing slots. Idaho slot machine casino gambling consists of 6 tribal casinos ranging from truck stops with slot machines to casino resorts. The minimum legal gambling age in Idaho depends upon the gambling activity. For land-based casinos, bingo, the lottery, and parimutuel wagering, it's 18. For poker rooms, it's not available. The state originally adopted criminal and constitutional prohibitions against Class 3 gaming except for parimutuel betting and a state lottery. After challenge from the tribes, ultimately the state amended its constitution to allow these Vegas-style gaming machines. The maximum bet in Idaho is $50. Next up is a usually short statement about slot machine private ownership, which I have included in case you live in this U.S. state and are considering owning a slot machine. Here it is. In Idaho, it is legal to own a slot machine privately if manufactured before 1950. Idaho does not have a state gaming commission, and instead it has tribal state compacts with the 4 federally recognized American Indian tribes in Idaho. These negotiated compacts determine Idaho's gaming regulations along with its enforcement. In this section, I'll discuss Idaho gambling establishments. There are 6 American Indian tribal casinos in Idaho. The largest casino in Idaho is Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort Hotel in Worley. The second largest casino is Shoshone-Bannock Casino Hotel in Pocatello and Blackfoot. There are no non-tribal commercial casinos with slot machines in Idaho. There are 6 tribal casinos in Idaho. As usual, when there are too many casinos to mention here, a complete list along with a casino map are on my webpage for the state at professorslots.com/ID. As an alternative to enjoying Idaho slot machine casino gambling, consider exploring casino options in a nearby state. Bordering Idaho is to the north, British Columbia, a province of Canada. To the east, Montana and Wyoming. To the south, Nevada and Utah. To the west, Oregon and Washington. To visit any of my articles on these U.S. states, simply visit professorslots.com, followed by its 2-letter postal designation. For example, my Montana slots article is available at professorslots.com/MT. Idaho's tribal state compacts do not require a minimum theoretical payout limit. Further, these gaming compacts don't require reporting return statistics to the state. In summary, Idaho slot machine casino gambling consists of 6 tribal casinos offering video slot machines, electronic pull tabs, and competition-style bingo machines. Some casinos also offer electronic forms of poker, keno, roulette, and blackjack. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you get community support and accountability. Visit professorslots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. Next up is the question and answer session from my initial rendition of today's topic from a prior live stream. I'll talk with you again afterward. Enjoy. And that's my 15 minutes. So it looks like we have lots of questions, and I guess I'll start at the top. So what happens here is that for about as much as an hour and 45 minutes, I can take questions and answer them. It depends on how many we get. I got a couple set aside, but my voice gives out in about an hour and 45 minutes. So that's why it can only be about 2 hours long total. If I remember to take a sip of water every once in a while. Okay, so first question is from Sale Ready. I believe. Please use hashtag question in your questions. This was, yes, Isaac. Isaac's chasing something in his dreams. Isaac is my white dog, a golden retriever. And he just sort of snored. Okay. So those of you who are looking for Curie is actually taking a seat off from the couch here. And she's over in the corner. She likes the corner of the loft. And nothing can change her from that. So, so Sale Ready. If a slot next to the one I'm playing is paying better wins at that time, does that mean the slot I'm playing will not pay at all? It seems my experience. You can figure out, you can learn what your casino does. And if every end of row machine has better odds in your experience, and you are not on the end of the row, but you see somebody sitting down on the end of the row, then that's the whole reason right there. All right. You're not living in a vacuum. You are, your casino. Very few of us go to a new to me casino every time. That's what I do. And so I have to, I don't know anything when I walk in the door. I only know what they might have, and I have to figure out those things that I can spot in about 3 hours with a $300 bankroll. And so what's been your experience? Is that what you've been seeing? Because if it's not the way you asked it, didn't sound like you knew your casino. Didn't sound like, you've seen this again and again. I mean, well, you said it seems my experience. So why not go to that machine and understand if it's the end of the row, highly visible machine, or not? If you go to that other machine and the machine you were on, somebody sits down at, and better wins are over there, then that's that's just random. And I think, what did you say? does that mean the slots I'm playing will not pay at all? There's no real connection between that machine and your machine, as far as, well, that gave out wins and so you won't. That's not how slots work. They're all set. One is a winner because it has higher odds, and one is not. And then every once in a while, sprinkled in hits, lightning striking, and some wins. But if you sense a pattern going on, trust it. Trust it. Right. So next question. And so, yeah, there's, hey, Slot Granny. Haven't seen you here for a while, I think. If you're the same Slot Granny that I had here before. Sergio, question. Vegas has been changing a lot. Have you heard Vegas becoming tighter now since pandemic started? Not exactly. What I was just chatting with somebody I was having a consult with. He's in Las Vegas today on the Strip, and what he's finding is that he can't seem to win big. There's a lot of winning going on, but they're all kind of like, he sent me, he puts $20 in and he wins $100, and he puts $20 in and he wins $100, and the Nelly 777 method, puts $20 in, wins $125, and he's just like, I'd like a hand pay. Like, well, you're making money. and so there's tight, but there's also making money, but there's not a lot of extraordinary wins. And so Vegas is changing a lot. There's a lot of changes to see. Some of them are meant to be confusing and don't really mean much. Like, one of the things people are seeing are just like all kinds of bonus rounds, all kinds of multipliers, all kinds of, more and more. If you look at the return statistics for Nevada, that used to be all penny machines, 10,000, 20,000 penny machines on the Las Vegas Strip, and then, 500 nickel machines, which is just such a fraction of them. That one nickel machine for every 1,000. Yeah, so that's a lot of penny machines, but that's changed, and we can see the numbers because in Nevada and other states they say how many slot machines they have, and in the 6 states that have slot machine that break them down by slot machine denomination, we can see how many of each denomination machines that they have. And multi-denomination is a line item for states that provide return statistics by slot machine denomination, because it isn't on every one of them, all 6, but on Nevada it is. It'll say, is it multi-denomination? Not what the denomination is, $25, $50, $100, or 1 cent, 2 cent, 5 cent, 10 cent. It won't say which multi-denominations are on those machines, but they have a line item for them. And there is 10,000 of them, 14,000 of them. And it's 14,000 multi-denomination machines on the Strip, and now 12,000 penny machines. Now, some of the multi-denomination machines are have 1 cent as one of those denominations. But penny machines are kind of like, they swept in 10 years ago, and they're just kind of like all being replaced, and pretty fast lately, particularly this year, because last year none of the casinos was spending money. Yeah. Thank you, my moderators, for being here. Thank you, moderators. And speaking of, that's a question from Camilla. Hi, Camilla. How about this? Bankroll is like fish bait. You can only take so much with you. If you don't land a big one, you have to try again next time. Yes. Why am I thinking of Jaws? We all want the big one, and we're going to need a bigger boat. Absolutely, fish bait. Yep, yep. I grew up surrounded on three sides by inland seas, by large lakes called Lake Huron, Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, and so fishing analogies, fishing metaphors, perfect. Steve. Hi, Steve. Does playing max increase the chance of winning a jackpot? It only increases the chance of winning a jackpot if, like, they're all getting complicated. So let me give you a simple example. If you make a maximum bet on a Wheel of Fortune machine, you might get a spin on the wheel. But if you don't make the maximum bet on most Wheel of Fortune machines, you can read the game rules to see it, then you're not allowed, it's not possible to get that win. And so the odds are you have more chances to win with maximum bet because something can happen that would not otherwise happen. But I like to play machines that don't require me to make a maximum bet, so that there's no difference between minimum credits and maximum credits. That being said, I have been to casinos where I take my $300 for 3 hours, 2 to 3 hours on a Sunday around noon, and and these are all trip reports that I have articles on and some videos on, which I try to do as often as I can. And they're getting to be further and further away, so it takes longer and longer to get to them. But I found that I was winning. My bankroll was increasing over an hour on a winning machine that I found at Lawrenceburg, Hollywood Lawrenceburg in Indiana. I wasn't, I was winning $20, but I was spending 90 cents. $20, 90 cents, $20, 90 cents. And my bankroll climbed from $100 to $300 in an hour. And that's fun, right? Now, I thought, this is what I would call a winning machine. I've been playing it for an hour. Would it be a winning machine if I made $2.70 bet? Right in the middle there, halfway between min and max. And I did that for half an hour. And I didn't lose money, but I didn't make money. My bankroll no longer climbed, but I didn't really, it didn't go down. I was winning as much as I was spending. And then I made maximum bets. And when I made maximum bets, my bankroll decreased. And I was kind of like, when I was doing minimum bets at 90 cents, and now I'm making $4.50 bets, I was paying 5 times more for my bets. But when minimum bets at 90 cents, I was making, $20 hits all the time. So if my bet amount went up by a factor of 5, did my wins go up by a factor of 5? Was I getting about $100 wins? I was getting $35 wins instead. It didn't even double. I was making 5 times the bets, and it didn't even double on the win amounts. Maybe you might notice that too. I'm trying to find out if more and more casinos have that, because it's something I spotted, and now I'm like, I got to go to 50 casinos and check it out. Terry, hi Terry. Ever went into a casino and lost from the moment you walked in to the moment you walked out? Depends on what you mean by lose. I have gone into casinos where there were no wins, 0. It's really obvious. And I've gone into a casino and I was like trying the 5 spin method, and I'm like, I don't want to play 20 machines because it's not working. There's like 2-cent wins 2 cents. Oh, I got a 12 cent. Woo, and I was making 60-cent bets. And I just again and again and again and again. And I'm just like, oh, this place gets a bad review. And so, yes, I've been in casinos like that. So I check out a few things and I see if there's, if it's got like the best buffet in the world, because I like buffets, and see if there's any other reasons, a good hotel, maybe a casino next door. That, is there any other reason why I might go here? And sometimes I'll give places a second chance just to see if it was a bad day, a particularly bad day. But yeah, I've been to casinos like that. But what I meant by was that true was as long as you didn't have the issue that most people have, which is they win and then they spend it all. So they go in with a certain amount and they come home with nothing, but it wasn't because they lost. It was because they spent everything they won, in which case, right over there is a gamble box that you can, a lockable wallet, which you can, go to the casino with and lock half your win away, that sort of thing. Yeah, and hi, Linda. Yeah, I don't think about winning a hand pay because that kind of drives me towards, I must get a hand pay. I want a hand pay. All that becomes kind of negative thinking. But there are some people who are like, what do I got to do? This is my lifetime goal. I want to have a hand pay. And I'm like, hey man, you want it? This is how you have to work for it. And sorry, I don't mean to say, hey man, when it might be a woman, hey people. Yeah. Keeping my bankroll, Linda says, I'm just worried about keeping my bankroll breaking even. Yeah. But that's a different goal. Some people have the goal of, I want a hand pay. There's last couple of live streams, people were like, if I only have $100, how do I win a hand pay? And I'm like, I will answer that. And it's not just for the people who want that. It's for all of us. Because if we can spend less money and win, that's a good thing for all of us. And it might require an attitude change, and all that's what's involved. And so yes, here we are now. So hello, Drop. What about progressives like Dragon Link's major, whereas in the range of $500 to $1,000, for example, but not at must hit by? I've only hit a few of the lower ranges. Right. So when we talk about progressive jackpots, and I have an article and a video on progressive jackpots and how to win them, there's a must hit by label under, as you know, but I need to explain to everybody, there's a must hit by label under the progressive jackpot amount. And must hit by $140, must hit by $1,200, must hit by, and it would say, and then you look at the progressive and you see how far away it is from that. And so you can, progressive jackpot advantage players, specialists, is what I call them, they look at that number and say, well, it's so far away from the must hit by amount that it would be spending too much money. So, and they're not trying to win all the progressive jackpots. They're trying to find one of the progressive jackpots that's close to its must hit by amount and trying to see whether if they played it long enough, they would actually win anything, because they might win it, but then it's like it took more than that, what they won, to win it, right? So that's the whole must hit by method that you obviously know about. Then there's machines that have a must hit by and they don't say it. So you have to figure it out. Not only do you have to figure out what that must hit by amount is, but you have to figure out whether or not there's even a must hit by internally to the machine, because there's a couple other ways progressive jackpots can be set up, which is it never stops. It just climbs. It's like Mega Millions or whatever. It just goes. Or it reaches a limit, and instead of anybody winning, it stops growing. And then the casino that would have added to that to increase it, they just take that for themselves, and it's capped. And so you have to sort of sort through these, and this is what I talk about in my progressive jackpots and in the online course as well. But it's freely available, and you can, if you can find it, and if this is not a method that works for you at your casino, you have to kind of sort out and see which one might be available to you. Yes, please hit that like button. Hope that helps. Drop. Let's see. Lots of conversations with everybody. Magpie 11, welcome. Are central servers set to a type of machine, or are central servers set to a type of machine, or are they set to a bank of machines together? Okay, so if a casino has a central server, it's connected to all the machines in the casino. One of the things that happens at casinos is there's no two methods. There's no two systems. There's no two, well, we got the accounting for the one system, but now we don't have the accounting for the other system. It's a big enough problem when they have table games, because that all has to be figured out, and then slots have to be figured out. And so one system. Now, I think what you might be asking is there a bank of machines that would be networked? And yes, those are progressive machines, but the identical progressive machines, and those are kind of not on the central server, or at least a minimum amount, because the rules for it's interesting how these progressive machines are set up. If you have a progressive machines, and we were just talking about Wrangle Link and Lightning Link, progressive machines, those are on their own network, and they can't be interfered with, or at least they can't be interfered with individually for the progressive jackpots. Line hits, yes, but not for the progressive jackpots, because it has to be the common odds across the entire network and they have to be of that machine, that denomination, that amount, and or multi-denomination. Those all have to be, for those progressive jackpots, have to be networked and pay out at the same time. Even if it's our topic that we had a week ago with the jackpot drop feature that is being offered at some casinos. So I hope that helps on what is and is not a bank of machines together. If it's progressive jackpots and it's the same game, even if it's multi-denomination, then it is connected, and the progressive jackpots are connected, but the line hits are not. And we'll talk Thursday night, Magpie, if you want to ask that again. I know you're limited by like 200 characters here. Terry, question. Have you walked into a casino and... Oh, we've done that one. Okay. Right. Okay. Lots of comments. I think they're great. Back and forth, and even to me, but it's not a question. Question. Yes. Aubrey, which casino in Biloxi, Mississippi would you recommend for a first-time visitor? First of all, I would recommend Biloxi. There are coastal regions northern region, central region, and Mississippi, and Biloxi's a good choice. So you've done that much. Otherwise, it's a matter of preference. It's a matter of experience. I had a trip planned for Biloxi last year, but with a young couple, and they had some medical problems, and so all that got canceled. And so I haven't been to Biloxi, at least not in 20 years or so. So if you join my Mississippi Slots Enthusiast Facebook group, then you can ask someone there what their experiences are about Biloxi. You can search the whole thing under just type Biloxi into the search term window, and it'll tell you all the comments that have the word Biloxi in it, and you can find out what people have been saying about what they're winning on, the pictures that involved. And I've done it before. I've looked before for Biloxi. I can't show you because it's private. You have to be a member. Not going to show it to thousands of people here, and so. But you can join free and just see what the locals are doing. Some of them were there last weekend. Some of them were there yesterday. Some of them are there right now, and so those are the people to ask. Yeah, and that's why I set up the Facebook groups, state by state Facebook groups. So Sale Ready says end of row. You sit on the end of row, from right to left or from left to right of where I stand. Please clarify. Thanks. Okay. This is not going to be answerable, Sale Ready. You need to see what works at your casino. And if you're on the end of row, the easiest way to answer your question, the one before and this one now, is if somebody is winning on a machine other than what you're sitting at, go sit at that machine instead of them and see what happens. Let's see. Yeah, I see that. I see what you mean, Sale Ready. And at the end of the row, look at some of the comments from some of the others about, and see if any of them are helping you with multiple comments. Yeah, there's lots of questions between people's. And lots of questions from people back and forth about their casinos, and kind of like one of my Facebook groups, like, oh, let's talk about our casino. Right. Audrey says, what is your opinion of online casinos like Stake? I don't, I think that, I think online casinos are kind of the wild, wild west right now. A lot of, shoot 'em up, sort of dangerous. It's different tomorrow, here today, gone tomorrow. There's so many of these companies that are, there's three types of online slots. There's real money gambling. There's social slots, which is no money gambling. And then there's the sweepstakes games like Chumba. And that is based on basically the games, the raffle laws within a state. And in some states, it's perfectly illegal, and in other states, it's not. And so they're kind of like a third thing. Real money gambling, no money gambling. I mean, you could spend money in social games on Facebook, but you're not getting any of it back. I remember I won 15 billion coins one time, and I figured at the price that I was paying $5 for 1 million coins. So that much in billions was $15,000, but none of that was anything I was going to ever get. There was only paying. There was no coming back. And so Chumbra is one of those that can cross the line, and it's so, but you're talking about real money gambling. And there's so many different things that are going on out there. It's just chaos. That's what they usually mean by wild, wild west. It's just chaos. If you go to New Jersey Gaming Commission will actually state what online gaming companies they have verified as good. And you have to be within the state of New Jersey, physically located, to use them. But you get an idea whether or not, it's been verified. Another way to find out more about online slots companies is to go to Britain, go to England. There are businesses that have set themselves up like me, but only for online slots, and they will look at each of these companies and they'll rank them under like 5 different criteria: respected reputation, usefulness, and they will actually evaluate for you and rank along with all the others where that company is amongst all the others under this criteria. And I think it's a great service, but we're not quite here yet. It's still wild, wild west here. So many states have online gaming through the State Gaming Commission, and so many don't. It's just crazy. And they might sort itself out eventually. Joliet, Illinois. Thank you for saying so. Yeah, I've been there. Not recently. I used to live in Iowa, drive home to Michigan, and I'd pass by, and that was right. There's like in Joliet, there's a KOA, Campgrounds of America. Stayed there all the time because it was like the halfway point. As Paula will know, when I drove 9 hours from the middle of Iowa to my home in Michigan, my family's home in Michigan, it's with my family, it's not Paula, but other members of my family, it's not a good idea to arrive tired. You're welcome, Drop. Let's see here. Heather, as it happens, I've had a client who was at Hard Rock Tampa. And apparently the location strategy works quite well there. If you want to try to target that, then if you don't know what that is, you can Google it on my website or on the YouTube channel. Yeah. Let's see here. Trying to spot anybody dropping in information from Facebook or from LinkedIn. Heather, what is your Florida casino recommendation? The tribal casinos don't have return statistics, but and I think I can bring this up here and show you. So let me bring. You can see my recommendation on my webpage. So let me share that with you, Heather. If you go to my webpage, professorslots.com, there's something here. Can you see my mouse? Depends if you have a big screen or not. Reviews. And click on that. And I'm working my way alphabetically through these Louisiana slots, Kentucky slots. I'm also doing trip reports, not in alphabetical order. Iowa, Indiana, go to the next page. We're shooting Indianapolis, Illinois. Who was it that might be interested in that? Sale Ready might be interested in that. But those are for bars and taverns. Kentucky, Hollywood, Lawrenceburg. Lots and lots of casino trip reports. Maristar Casino. Here it is, Florida. So on the third page, Florida slots return player. And let me see here. I want to go to here. Do I have a video? Yeah, I don't have a video. Can you see this? Let me maybe make it bigger. Green and brown are Hialeah Park and Magic City. That's where you want to go. These are only the commercial casinos located in Miami-Dade and Broward counties over by Miami and Fort Lauderdale. What you don't want to do is go to Isle Pompano because it's down here. So the best two kind of go back and forth with Magic City and Hialeah Park. And the worst one is Isle Pompano, and there's basically air between all these, although there's a little bit of crossover with Calder. And you can always look these up and get this. I did this last in, I think, March, and I'll update it in months from now. And you can do it yourself. And I explain how you can do it yourself. And, there's a big difference here. 3 full points difference. That's huge. The way I try to explain these win percents is if you have a 2.5% improvement, it's worthy of a backflip. And if I did a backflip, it would probably kill me, but I'd still want to do it because that's the feeling you get of that's that much better. Some states it's like 0.5% and it's noticeable, but is it worth driving an extra distance? No, but the 3-point difference here between the worst and the best in Miami-Dade and Broward counties is worth doing it. Of course, it's your travel costs and all that. I haven't. So say already, I haven't traveled to Illinois to try my five spin method. I'm kind of working my way out from Ohio, and then I was doing some trips to casinos before I was laid off, where I was in the area, had the evening off, and I would go to Rivers, Pittsburgh, and different places. So I haven't been to the Illinois casinos, even though they're just outside of where I have gone. So I don't have a recommendation for you, but I do have Illinois Slots Enthusiast Facebook group where you can ask people there, or just type, 5 spin or spin in the search term and see what you get. Yeah. Or just ask. How do you figure out how much money it will take to hit the must pay by slots? So what you do is you watch it. And I'm thinking about offering like a spreadsheet to help people do it, to do this. Basically, you go see what that number is. And you might have to write down or record or speak into your phone mic or whatever, the 4 progressive jackpots on a slot machine. And then every time you visit, or a couple of times if it's a long visit. And what you're looking for is the highest it ever gets. And when, then you can tell when it's high. And that's what you're looking for. You don't know. I mean, if you find it like a high amount that you haven't seen before and you come back to it and somebody won, well, that's as good as it gets. That's how you figure it out. It takes a lot of work. It can take 6 months, depending on, once a week visits or something. But, a lot less if you go like 3 times a week. And you basically record what's happening to those numbers. And you would want to do it on a bunch of different slot machines because you don't only want that 6 months or 3 months to happen once. And then you have, it's an investment. And then you have a long list of slot machines where you have a fair idea what the must hit by amount is. And during that time, you can find out whether or not if it just stops at 2000.00 exactly, and then it just stays there for 6 months or whatever, and then it's not a must hit by. And it's the other kind, which doesn't have this. And that's how you figure it out. Yeah. What about Lowell. What about Oklahoma casinos, WinStar? There's no return statistics available from the state for Oklahoma casinos. There's no monthly return statistics available for 60% of U.S. states. It's only available for 40% of U.S. states. 20 U.S. states have return statistics. And if you don't have it, contact your congressman, right? Or become your congressman, or become the gaming commissioner or deputy gaming commissioner, and work towards having better gaming regulations, right? Or tribal compacts, which is in the case in Oklahoma. Yeah. So, Lady Liberty Stacker, do you find there is a best day or time in which to win more frequently? Yes. It's different for a lot of casinos. Different for every casino. I mean, sometimes it's always Friday night. You can tell by listening to the sound of the casino if it's not Hard Rock Tampa or Yamava, which is always just a dull roar. There is a best day and time, and you can figure out what that is for your casino. As I was saying in the first part of this presentation, learn your casino well. That's one of the things you need to learn well, is what time is better. I have articles on firekeepers in Southwest Michigan. Thank you, Paula, and for moderating. And that's one of the things you can figure out. It's not hard. Yeah. Let's see. Lots of answers coming from others who've been here for a while. At a casino such as MGM, okay, so you've tacked on the hashtag question and you've added a bit more. I don't have a local MGM, so I can't go at a bunch of different times. And therefore, I can't tell you about a local MGM casino because there isn't one. But you can go to an MGM near you, and I have no doubt that they all use this. And you don't have to spend a dime finding out. You just have to go at different times and notice how everybody's winning and everybody's not winning, and it's the same size crowd. Yeah. So I think somebody had a question. Yes. Sorry, John. I didn't see the hashtag. There is no hashtag. Question is moving. No. Okay. Question: is moving your bet around effective to win? Progressive betting. Moving your bet around. So, if you're saying go to a different machine, I wouldn't say that it was effective. Just to cover the bases, I think you're talking about making a different size bet on progressive jackpots on a machine. Well, if it's networked, even if it's just like a carousel or a row, just 5, 6 machines, 8 machines, you really do want to make maximum bet. And the reason why you want to make maximum bet is everybody else probably is making minimum bet. And so the differences between maximum bet and minimum bet means that if all the seats are taken and everybody's doing minimum bets, but you're doing maximum bets, there's a 50% chance that you will win the progressive jackpot because your larger bets will leap further up. And if it hits the must hit by, you have a better chance. If you make minimum bets like everybody else, it's 1 in 8. But if you make maximum bets and everybody else is making minimum bets, then it's 1 in 2. Okay. Irving, I didn't see a question, but you're talking to me by saying, hello, professor. Does the 5-spin method on slots, so if your casino has it, it has it on all the slot machines. It isn't game specific. Little slot gal. Do you have stats recommendations on New Mexico casinos? Well, let's take a look. It's further down the alphabet, so I haven't gotten that far, that's for sure. But let's check and see what New Mexico has available. So how you do this is you go to my webpage and I'll save this. Come on. And you go to professorslots.com and then you type the two-letter postal designation, and that'll take you to one of my 56 articles, 50 states, but one federal district and 6 U.S. territories. And I've gone through all of these. They're all structured the same: intro, relevant legal statutes, which can be longer or shorter. This is the longest one on private ownership of a slot machine. There's lots of rules in New Jersey. It's really strict. And most places are just like, yes, no, it has to be this old. So there's the casinos. That's always a large section, a map, and then Facebook group connection. And there are no theoretical payout limits for all slot machines. Oh, the theoretical payout limit for all slot machines in New Mexico is 80%, whether it's at a tribal casino, commercial casino, or nonprofit organization. Return statistics are unavailable for them. And that's the answer. I don't have statistics from the state. The state does not offer them. You can go to my New Mexico Slots Enthusiasts group on Facebook, and you can ask the locals, what do they recommend? I'm really quiet on Facebook, but I read everything. Don't tell them. And they've had some things to say. Read it and ask questions and see what's been going. John has a question. Okay, I'll put that away. John says, why are Indian casinos harder to figure out? It seems like in the past 6 weeks, they are tightening up. Okay, the commercial casinos have been tightening up too. It's kind of a summer thing. It's kind of in preparation for loosening during the whole middle of October through end of year. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's a casino rhythm. And they plan it this way. So it's not just tribal casinos, but commercial casinos too. Yeah. I don't think that August is the worst of the year. It's not great, but some people are kind of still winning a little bit. Not January, not February. Wow, those are just like hands down the worst 2 months of the year. Partly because nobody has any money, so the casinos, because they spend it for the holidays at the end of the year, multiple holidays, and the casinos are just like, well, we know we don't get a lot of customers. We never get a lot of customers in January and February. So, who wants their vacations? Go on your vacations, and they tighten things up just to try to get something like what they would normally get for that month. Yeah. I don't know if you're asking me, John, does progressive betting increase your odds of winning if you spend 6 months getting good at it? People who win progressive jackpots are specialists. They put the time in, they put the work in, and they've learned the strategy, and they make it happen. They learned how to make it happen. Audrey, are tribal casinos regulated differently than other casinos? Usually tighter. There's a lot more, and also much more consistently. The commercial casinos are regulated by the state. And it's kind of true that tribal casinos are as well, because they have to negotiate a tribal compact with the state. But there's also a federal, the Indian Gaming Regulatory Act, a federal law, and that defines a whole mess of things. Like there's a federal uh, gaming commission, National Indian Gaming Commission, and when every casino can do different thing, when every state can do different things at commercial casinos, they they do, but tribal casinos are much more consistent, and they're really under a lot of pain. Um, some of the tribes, they have a casino and it's like the only big business they have, and if it were to fail, not to put it too lightly, they all starve. And so there's a lot more hanging in the balance at most tribal casinos. But yeah, because of the federal law, they have a lot of similar definitions. Are they different? Sure. Sometimes the states will try to make the rules similar for the commercial casinos, but some don't care. Yeah, it's what usually happens in my going through all the different states is, they seem to really be kind of like ratcheting down how tight the tribes, the rules they have to work under. Yeah. And Terry says, if your state has 3 casinos that are of the same name, do they seem to have the same payout times? So what I found in that case is it's been fascinating. So one of my local casinos opened in 2013, and it's been purchased twice. So there was the original owner, which was Caesars Entertainment. And then it was a Jack. And then now it's a Hard Rock. And I've gone there, and it's a local casino, so I can go a lot. And did they change? Should I go there and see if they have the same winning strategies as a Hard Rock? And what I've found is it has the same winning strategies as a Caesars. Why would that be? Because Caesars built it. And that's when everything was set up. Yes, they made some changes, but no new owner is going to well, let's just shut it all down and we'll open it again later. That's okay. No, you keep it running. You don't turn things off for a day. So what generally happens is the first owner sets it up. So you say in your state has 3 casinos all with the same name. Did they start with the same name? Did the same company build them? I would bet not. Who built it? Find out the history, because that's how they win. They might work to make it better, to change it, but that's a terribly risky business move. You don't mess with what works. They purchased it under the idea that this is what happens. This is how this casino works. It's what all the locals feel it does, and we don't want to change that. And so, yeah, if it had the same name to start with, and I have to question whether it would. Why would they build 3 casinos in the same state? I guess if they had the opportunity, but that would be automatically competing with themselves, and that doesn't seem like a good situation. They'd want to have one of them. Yeah. Okay, Audrey, if you want to look at Audrey, we can go, you could do it yourself, but let's go to Alabama. So return statistics. There are no theoretical payout limits, nor are return statistics publicly available from Alabama casinos. That's the answer to your question. Let's see. Okay. Oh, just follow your nose, Jeanette. If I have never been to a casino before and have never played a game, but would like to, what do you recommend? Minimum amount of money, minimum amount of knowledge. We've all been, we're all self-taught. And then me, made an online course. But traditionally for, 130 years, we've all been self-taught unless, our parents taught us how to go to a casino and play slots. So whatever suits your fancy, just make sure you don't overspend. Yeah. Enjoy. Sergio, are you planning to attend G2E? If yes, when? Maybe next year. It's usually this is a trade show. I've been to way too many trade shows, not in the slots industry. I know what a trade show holds, and it's a marketing opportunity, I suppose. It's not a conference. There's no technical presentations. It's marketing, and with the attitude of the other slots channels towards me right now, and I suppose this is how I got into this position. I don't see any value, honestly. I mean, you should go. You should enjoy it. For me, what would they offer me? I mean, I'm not asking for anything. I'm saying, what good would it be? Is there anything that I could learn to share with you? I don't see it. Trade shows are like that. You go to get hired. You go to find out what the marketing is telling you. There's a possibility of getting brand deals and other stuff, but how does that help you? That's just me making money. When I have a reason, I'll go. I just don't see the point. Let's see. Hello, Walt. Good to see you. I'm a little surprised. Right. And moving on. Okay. I'm reading the questions, or at least there's lots of questions to one another. And so that's awesome. So Terry, question. In Alabama, there are 3 Wind Creek casinos. Is one of them better than the other? Wetumpka. It's just based on all the comments that I've heard. And you can check yourself in the Alabama Slots Enthusiasts group on Facebook and see what people have to say more specifically. But it seems like they're all talking about Wetumpka. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So it all looks good here. And okay, so that's it. What a great live stream. You'll see me on my next live stream on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern. In the meantime, watch this video on how to take advantage of casinos by winning on slot machines they've chosen to set up as winners. Bye. Improve your slots performance in 30 days or less with my 30 days to play slots smarter and win. You'll also get 3 free valuable bonuses, including 1 month free to my Slots IQ membership group, where you'll get community support and accountability. Visit ProfessorSlots.com/30 days to learn more about the free bonuses, course content, and testimonials from participants. The next episode of the Professor Slots podcast will include another slots-related topic, a review of the slots industry in Illinois, and another thoroughly enjoyable live stream Q&A session. That's the end of another great episode of the Professor Slots podcast. Thanks so much for listening. I plan to have the next episode come out very soon for you. We'll have more amazing content for the show. Until the next episode, have fun, be safe, and make good choices. Bye.